Alrighty, Cherub. So we're going to continue in ancient Imperial Rome, and we're going to be going and looking at our last emperor, Hadrian, but not our last piece. Hadrian's going to follow Trajan, and he's going to build my personal favorite piece from Imperial Rome, which is the Pantheon, not to be confused with the Parthenon. All right. Now, the name, let's break down the name. Pan means all, theos, gods. So it's a temple dedicated to the worship of all the gods. If we look at this, let me grab the laser pointer. If we look at this, you can see it's got this Etruscan style porch in the front. And rather than having a square or rectangular section on the back for the cella, it's got this round portion with a dome, and the dome has a hole in the top. And that is what gives it all of its magic. When we look at the front, it appears very Greek. It's very, very, very tall. It's a very big building. It looks very Greek, which was what he wanted. Hadrian loved the classics. And so what he's going to do is he's going to give us this Corinthian colonnade up front, this Corinthian porch. Instead of a frieze of sculptures, he's just going to have words, a dedication, and then up at the top, the blank pediment. Remember, the Romans are going to prefer a blank pediment. All right, so you walk through this porch, and the entrance are these giant bronze doors. And these doors are going to, gosh, this whole building is going to be so influential throughout the history of Western art. So very influential. When you walk in to the Pantheon, then, you're going to be greeted in through the porch, in through the vestibule, past the bronze doors and into the space. It's just this magical, like, wow. So go ahead and give this a clip a watch. Now, you walk in, like I said, and the walls are just supported by the drum of themselves. The dome is supported by this drum of this wall. There's no columns helping to hold up the ceiling, which is just this remarkable thing. And you walk in, and it's supposed to mimic heaven. It's supposed to be, the coming together of heaven and earth, the axis mundi, where you've got the dome of heavens and the flatness of the earth all coming together into one space. Now, they're going to be able to build this because they use concrete and the arch. So we see that dynamic duo again with the concrete and the arch. Remember, concrete is cement plus an aggregate, all right? And they're going to be able to control and build this dome because they can control the aggregate. So they're going to use heavier material down below to add into the cement so that it's stronger. And then as they move up and start building the dome proper, they're going to start using lighter materials. So what they're going to use are ceramic vessels, which are hollow, mixing in these ceramic vessels into the concrete. And then when they get to the top, they're going to start using pumice, which is a volcanic rock that floats. Okay, it's this very, very, very lightweight rock that floats because it's so full of air holes. And so they're going to use that up at the top. Now it's all held together by this ring of the oculus that holds and channels equally all the pressure of the dome back down into the rest of it. So it evenly distributes the weight. They have these squared cutouts in the roof, in the ceiling. And these are called coffers. One, they make it look pretty. They give visual interest to the thing. Two, it relieves weight. It takes more weight out of it because they're going to be material is not there that would normally be there. So it makes the roof even lighter still. So these are called coffers, and you're going to have to remember that. All right. It also has sections carved out that are hollow, and it has those so that, again, the weight of the building isn't too much. This is by far the engineering marvel of ancient Rome. So you walk in, and again, you've got that one window that casts sunlight in, and it's just this circular space, and it's magical. It's so powerful an experience. And it was designed to be a spiritual experience. Okay, we've got a couple other clips. Please watch these; they will help you. They will be beneficial. Now you can see the pediment was not. It was supposed to be taller than it is, where the porch was supposed to be all the way up here, but they couldn't make it all the way up here because the columns were shipped in from Egypt. All right, and they're one piece each. This is these massive columns, but they couldn't get them any bigger. So they had to lower the porch. And you can see the sides here. Again, they're helping. They build in arches into the walls to help support the weight of the whole thing. The Pantheon, we're not entirely sure who designed it. Okay, money's on Hadrian that it's his plan. It could have been Apollodorus of Damascus that also helped with the design. We do know that Apollodorus was put to death by Hadrian. Artistic dispute, I guess. And yeah, so we're not entirely sure, but it is speculated that Hadrian came up with the design. The Pantheon is the most, like I mentioned, influential building in the world. And I even put that down here in the notes. That what's going to happen with this thing is that it's this massive dome, and it creates this that you walk in, and again, like I said, there's this spiritual experience as you walk in to this space. And people loved that, and they wanted to replicate it. Now, it wasn't the only dome on the planet, but it was the largest on the planet. And so in a couple 500 years, when the Roman Empire splits and the capital moves to the east and it moves to Constantinople, another emperor, Justinian, we're going to talk about him, and we're going to talk about this building in more depth, wants to build the biggest dome in the world. He wants to outdo the Pantheon and build a Christian church with this giant dome. And he does it. And then 900 years later, when Constantinople falls to the Ottoman Turks, they're going to see this, and an architect that's working for the Sultan is going to be amazed by Hagia Sophia. And so he's going to be commissioned to build a mosque with the largest dome in the world. Simultaneously, there's another guy back in Rome who's also been commissioned to build the biggest dome in the world, to outdo Hagia Sophia, to outdo the Pantheon, to outdo everything. And so the guy in Turkey, his name is Sinan, and he knows, and he's going to have this arms race, this architectural arms race with the Italian Michelangelo, trying to build the biggest dome in the world. And so they have this architectural arms race happening, and it's just this great moment in art history. Michelangelo's dome winds up being bigger, and it's on St. Peter's Basilica. All right, and he builds it. It's not just a hemispherical dome. He builds it up, and then it's rather tall. It's this tall dome. When Sir Christopher Wren sees this building later, he's a British architect. He's going to see this building later, and it's going to inspire him to build St. Paul's Cathedral in London with a similar tall dome. Well, that's in the 1600s. And just a century later, when America is founded, they're going to see St. Paul's. They're going to remember St. Paul's in London and use that as the blueprint for the Capitol building and in the United States. And then the Capitol building has been the inspiration for all the other state capitals in the United States. And so you can see from even here in Salt Lake City, the direct descendant of the Pantheon dome. And it's just this, it's so cool to see how this one building and this one Roman emperor's vision influences the world to this day, well over 2,000 years later, and he's still influencing the world. And I just think that's remarkable. That's so good. The bronze doors are going to inspire other works of art too, and we're going to get to see those and see the descendants of the doors on the Pantheon. And again, it's just this remarkable experience. So this is the Pantheon. Again, not the Parthenon. The Pantheon is round like a cake pan. The Parthenon is rectangular. The Pantheon is dedicated to Pantheos, all the gods. The Parthenon is dedicated to Athena Parthenos, the Virgin. This is Doric. This is Corinthian. This is an Etruscan style. This is a Greek style. This has a dome. This does not. Okay. So here's some more info. Comparables. Oh, let me throw this in here. The last time I was in Philadelphia, now growing up, we'd go to Philadelphia on occasion, and we'd go to there's a science museum in Philadelphia, and it's called the Franklin Institute. And it's this great science museum, and they've got this giant model of a heart that you can walk through and all these other different exhibits. But when you first walk inside, and it's got, again, this Greek portico out front, you walk inside and you can see the Corinthian columns, and you can see in these capitals, these pilasters. You walk inside, and there, the entrance of the Franklin Institute is a coffered dome with an oculus, and beneath that sits this giant statue, this giant marble statue of Benjamin Franklin, which is just really, really, really cool. And last time I was there, I'm like, the Pantheon. So just a cool little side note. Okay, and that's what we're going to end with the Pantheon. We're going to finish up. We've got one more video to do, and that is going to be our last piece for Imperial Rome.